the way that they described, my parents described to me that they involve a lot of naked people, male
Mm.
and female,
Mm-hmm.
on stage,
Yeah.
and they were like cross dresser, but they
Mm.
are male underneath, and they would go around with the dick out, and they would go up to some audience member with consent, of course,
Mm.
and they wrap their soft penis around their wrist just to show how big they are.
Wow. Welcome everyone to the Unlisted podcast, episode number 7. I am your host, Sean, the greatest teacher in the world, and we have our co-host here, Huey. No nickname this week. What happened?
I I feel like I don't have a good one, and also I don't think I need one. I'm happy being who I am at the moment. So
Yeah.
we'll go with that.
All right, cool. There he
Hello.
is, clean shaven and everything.
Yep, I shaved off 5 years.
Actually, I personally like the stubble, like the 5 p.m. What's it called? 5 p.m. shade or whatever. I think that's a better look.
Have you 5 o'clock? Have you ever destroyed have you ever destroyed your favorite sweater with a 5 o'clock shade?
How do you destroy a sweater with a 5 o'clock shade?
So, let's say if you haven't shaved for like a week, then it's fine, right? But then you shave, but then you wait for like three days. The 3 day stubble is very very dangerous because it's very
Friction,
hard.
right?
It's very coarse on the surface. Therefore,
Ah,
if you put on like a really nice cashmere shirt, it will rack the shit out of the thing. So it can happen. Not that I'm gonna need to wear a sweater anytime soon in this weather, but it can happen. And so I've been told that I look 5 years younger. So I enjoy it.
so you ruin a cashmere sweater because you were too busy
Scarf.
to
Let's put it that way.
a
A
scarf.
scarf. I was
Ah,
going for like a wrap around hug, and then I noticed that like when I pull my face away, it gets stuck on my face.
wow,
Yeah,
man, that's
that
a
thing
new
is
one.
very fancy.
I've never heard of that before. That's
No,
insane.
it's a very
Wow.
common issue. Like
Mm.
if you happen to have like body hair and you shave them off, and then you wait for like let's say 3 to 4 days, and then it grows back and it's very coarse on at the end,
Mm.
and then you will notice that if you wear a very soft cotton shirt and you take them on and off when they go against your skin, it jack
Mm.
off the corner of the shirt. You can feel that, but only when the stubble is just coming out. Is it like hard enough? If you wait for like a week, it will be too long to cause the issue. Same for you for hair everywhere. It's like when you drag your hand like across your head when you just shave your head like 4 days ago. You can really feel the hair. It's like go against your hand. You can feel that. But if you wait long enough, it will be too long for you to notice anything. So the shorter it is, the spikier it gets. You know, it's just physics. If that makes sense. But anyway, you
That's
remind me. I need
that's
to find them.
yeah. Remind remind you what?
That I need to light one up as well.
You know, I want to.
That's
Quick,
how my morning is going. And how's yours?
say that again.
That's how my morning has been going. And how's yours?
No, it was good, dude. I just woke up early for some reason. You know, we had like the yesterday. I got stuck in the rain going through District 1.
Of course you
Then
do.
the
Yeah,
idiot the idiot grab driver. I'm just kidding. He was a nice guy. He forgot the raincoat,
yeah.
so there was thunder and lightning. So we had to hide under the new bridge in District 1 for a good 2 hours. Um, and so yeah, man, it was just like you sat there and did nothing. But it was an interesting experience. You know, I got a chance to look at the river. contemplate life, the meaning of life and that sort. But he was very apologetic. He's like, I'm so sorry, blah blah blah. I'm like, nah, it's cool, man. Just go
Is
with the
that your
flow.
first time being stuck in the in Saigon?
In the rain, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, like, actually before, like, I would just grind it out. So if I'm on my bicycle or if I'm on a rental moped, I would just grind it through the rain. But you find out, like, I found out, like, okay, I'm gonna get drenched. There's gonna be dirt and everything and rocks all over my clothes. So I think it wastes more time. Just if you calculate and add into all the time you have to, like, clean and dry your clothes, you know. So I think the smart people are the ones who actually, like, wait around, have a smoke, you know, get to mingle with some of the people waiting. So that's sort of what I did.
It's not always an option because it's part of the street where they don't really have like a sidewalk with like a thing where they cover you from the rain. So
Right.
sometimes just stuck out in the middle of nowhere. But yes, I agree that if you are operating a ride sharing vehicle and you don't bring a raincoat, it's a pretty 4 star for me. I'm very forgiving, so for me 4 star. But
You know what? I'm
yeah,
I'm hesit I'm hesitant to ever give them anything but a 5 star. You know why? Because them damn customer service people call you the next day. They bother you like, oh, can you tell us what happened, et
four
cetera,
star
et
won't get
cetera. I don't want to hear that.
4 star will not corner a call. I guarantee. Don't worry.
Really?
I've been called, but it's
Oh, by the way, did you find the headphones for your gaming
not yet.
endeavor?
By the way, I need that on June 21st, and I might need that for 2 weeks. So I'm not in a rush. I have like 3 weeks to find it, so I'm not
Mm.
rushing. But I haven't found one yet. I'm probably gonna ask sort of my coworker the next time we have coffee and see if we can borrow a pair.
Yeah, man. Actually, I went to see, like, a DJ turn, like, somebody was selling the DJ turntable. It had a microphone and headphone. Like, looked like a
Are
proper
you
one
gonna
too.
buy it?
No, man, it was gone before I got there. Damn it! I was, like, stuck in the
Okay.
rain for 2 hours, right? The other guy, the other guy must have, like, just grind through the rain and then got it before me. God damn it! But anyways,
Might be an overkill to buy like a DJ gear for like a Zoom call. Might be.
no, man, he had it for cheap. So it's like
Okay.
it was like
It's
a
a cheap
hundred. It
like
was like $100 for the whole set. Microphone, headphone,
take it.
turntable. I was like, damn, man, I gotta learn how to mix my own music. Mm.
Like if you buy like a pair of brand new headphone, like a decent pair, $100 wouldn't even get you in the door. So if $100 for the whole set, get it.
Yeah, and then all I need to do is to get, like, a boob job, and I could be like one of those hot boy, hot girl DJs. Is that still a thing in Vietnam?
Big thing.
Still, right? They
By the
just like
way, I
they just like
also
clicking buttons for, like, they don't even know what they're doing, and they're just like just shaking it. They're
essentially
accessories.
the dancer. The dancer. They're
Right.
not really, which again, to be fair, I don't think most guy DJ are DJing anything at all.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not saying that DJ don't do anything. They do thing in the background, in the
Mm.
studio, whatever. But when they
Right.
actually get on stage, they don't. They just like hype up the crowd.
It's
They're
pre-mated. There's a playlist, right?
sometimes people do it live, but when they do it
Yeah.
live, you can kind of notice that they're doing it live. If they're not doing it live, you can notice that as well. And I doubt that most girls are there to do it live. They're just there for the environment, which is fine. I would,
Mm.
I can see why it is a big thing. Probably more of a thing in Asian country for some reason. Yeah.
Yeah, man. You're like, yeah. You see, like, Coachella or whatever. I don't think I've seen, like, a lady DJ ever. To be frank, it's always like
Uh,
these white guys or, like, these European guys, right?
yeah. because the girl are elsewhere on stage. Maybe they're already dancing on stage. They already have like a setting where
Right.
the girl will dance on stage. So the DJ doesn't have to be the girl. It should be like Zed or Morning Garrix up there doing things, and that's why you get a live performance. But then the girl can dance elsewhere. But in Asia, I guess probably, if I have to guess, probably because like in Asia, like strip club are pretty much like illegal in general.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to find like female entertainment in that kind of manner. And so it's a nice a sneaky way to sneak around that is to have like a female DJ that jumping up and down a little bit. So
Right.
so technically you can call it like a dance floor, but like, all right, this is a girl DJ.
Not exactly a strip club though. Have you either been to Bangkok or like a Western strip club before?
No,
Guy or
my
girl.
parents in one, so interesting, right?
Your parents
My
what? Own
my
one? You
parents
said?
my parents, yeah, like I think it was before COVID, 2018 or 2019, they went to
Oh.
Thailand for a trip,
Oh, they
and they
saw
went
one. Okay.
they went in a strip club, not
Ah,
saw one.
okay, okay. For some reason, I thought your parents
Yeah.
opened up one. I'm like, damn.
No,
Let
not
me
like
know.
that. They went into strip club together, not like separately.
So
And
they call those go-go bars, I think. Not quite
uh,
exactly a strip club.
all right, I don't
There's
know
a
what.
difference, but you go first, and then I'll let you know what the difference.
All right, I don't know what a Thai call it, but the way that they describe, my parents described to me that they involve a lot of naked people, male
Mm.
and female,
Mm-hmm.
on stage,
Yeah.
and they were like cross dresser, but they
Mm.
are male underneath, and they would go around with the dick out, and they would go up to some audience member with consent, of course,
Mm.
and they wrap their soft penis around their wrist just to show how big they are.
Wow.
Yeah, my mom told me
Thai guys are that big?
there
I don't know.
is a cross dresser, and by
Uh,
the way, up top it looked like a proper lady and all that with a lot of
so
makeup.
it's a lady boy, right?
Yeah, lady boy, yeah.
Yeah.
But she went she went down,
Her,
and she
them, whatever pronouns.
most Thai lady
Lady
boys still
boys.
insist that they are a he. They don't
Oh,
go by.
I like that.
And I don't
See?
know. It doesn't matter even if she wanted to be called she, but like in this case, they insisted that it's a he. But like up top, you can tell that it's like Pat is a lady.
Enhance, right?
At least my mom told me that way.
Yeah.
And then they went down and they asked for consent, so it's not like at SA. And then they lift the dress up, and everybody laughed. It's like, by the way, even though people are naked, but like it's not. It doesn't come off the way that my parents. I mean, it did
Right.
not come off like a sexual thing. It come off like a
Like a show?
comedy. Like a show, a fun
Comedy,
thing.
entertainment, right? Yeah, that sounds
Not
cool.
sexual. They come
Not
down,
harassment.
not harassment. They ask for permission, and then they grab an audience member's wrist, and then they wrap their sock, by the way, sock dick around the wrist, just show
Wow.
how. And like my
Wow.
mom and dad cannot help but laughing out loud, and the whole audience are mostly tourists from other Asian country and some
Right.
Western countries, and they laugh their
Right.
ass off. It's
Right.
so funny. And yes, it's very difficult for me to imagine an environment where people are naked left and right, but they don't make it sexual. Just it's like a comedy. It's like a stand-up, essentially. And so yeah, technically, my parent entered an adult establishment before I ever did. So it's kind
Wow.
of funny.
Okay, so I'll tell you the difference between a strip club and a go-go bar. It's funny. It's funny you mentioned that because actually, no lie, the first time I ever stepped inside a strip club was last year in America, ever, right? And the year before that was the first time I stepped into a go-go bar. And the difference is like the go-go bars, like okay, like if you watch American movies, like strippers are very athletic, like they're very toned. You gotta like spin around. You gotta spin around that thing. Man, I can't do that. They're literally doing like Circus Soleil kind of like contraption or movement with their body, right? They're doing like they could do like the flag thing. You know what I'm saying? Like where you're sideways. Yep. So strippers are like highly athletic and very yeah, very good with the movement. But if you go to a go-go bar in Bangkok, basically, um, well, a strip club usually there's like one person on one bar, right? Like this, right? And then if there's other side ones, maybe they'll have like secondary dancers. But go-go
Okay.
bar is kind of like I would think of it kind of like when you're buying farm animal, right? You go to the farm and you're like you bid on like this pig or that cow. So
Is that
all the ladies or men,
okay?
whatever, they have like numbers on them. Like they're like earmarked,
Okay.
basically, right? I'll tell you. And so each person has a number, and then
Is
they're just like flooded. Like my background, it's kind of like that. They're like next to each other, like this close, and they're not really
this is
dancing. They're not doing anything, um, any kind of
suggest
movement that you would consider
su- su-
artistic. It's kind of,
suggestive.
yeah, no, it is suggestive, but it's more like they're kind of like doing it like lazily, like I'm like my legs are tired, I'm in high heels, like that kind of look. Whereas like kind of low energy. Whereas like if you go to American strip club, they're like always high energy, but their performances are much shorter. They'll do it for like one song, maybe two, and then they'll just like shut it down and then go back. But like go-go bar, they're like herds of of animals, and they just like line up. There's like at least 30, 40, 50 at any given time, and they just have numbers on each of them. And so that's the biggest difference. But the difference, the bigger difference would be like that would shock you is that the degeneracy that they have in Bangkok. Um, I don't mean it in a bad way, right? They do things with their private parts that boggles the mind that you think that it shouldn't work
You
under
mean
the
like paying
laws
doping?
of physics. Oh, there's more, dude. No, there's more than
Okay.
that. Yeah, so I'll just put it at that. So that's the biggest difference. I'm surprised. Yeah, you may want to check one out one day. Thailand's like a quick plane ride away.
So
You know, it's probably
if
about the
I have
same distance away from our hometown. So
yeah, Thailand is very Bangkok is very close by if you live in Saigon, for example. Yeah. So, but if I'm in Thailand, I'm definitely down to see one.
yeah, you
And
gotta. It's just like for
yeah,
the experience. You say you did it.
I wouldn't say that calling it like degenerative is necessarily like the right phrasing because like if you're doing like outdoor, like for everyone to see, like it's kind of
Mm.
degenerative. But if it's like an indoor control environment, I see it as like entertainment, and I don't see it as being widespread outdoor. Like outside of certain area in Thailand, the government is pretty conservative otherwise. So I don't
Yeah,
think
absolutely.
it's like a cultural thing. It's like a yeah,
Yeah.
you degenerate tourists go here, do this here. We contain it here, but we don't want to. So
No, no, no.
I
Like, don't get me wrong. I don't know how the other word to speak of it. Like, I
let's
don't
say
mean degenerate. Even I know it has a bad connotation, but I don't have any judgment towards it at all. It's just
let's
like
say
when you like see things that like don't match up in real life or shouldn't. Yeah, I don't know what to think. What word to describe it? But it's
we'll
like
say
huh? What's the word?
we'll say we'll say it's very unorthodox.
Unorthodox. Okay, that's a good one. All right, man.
All right.
Do you know if Teams or Google can do recordings or what? No.
Zoom is dog shit. Team
Yeah.
don't do TNT dog shit. Like
Uh,
Google, I don't have much experience with the recording. Like for meeting, Google is fine. It's convenient in a way that you can set up directly from Google Calendar, so
right.
you don't have to go through another platform. But otherwise, I don't see Google Meet being more superior in Zoom in terms of like call quality.
Mm.
By the way, the issue that we're experiencing with Zoom is not a flaw. This is a design choice that
It's not a
happened to
bug.
not
It's a feature, right?
feature. They want to make sure that only one audio stream can be audible at a time to make sure that people can hear. a coherent thought, and they actually do that to prevent over talking one
Mm.
another on purpose, and which is good for like a corporate meeting setting, but for
Yeah.
like a civil discourse is basically what we're doing, right? So
Right.
civil discourse is better to hear interruption,
I
but
know.
you know,
I know because I always follow the All In podcast, and they found a way to do it because maybe because they all have dedicated microphones or something. But when four of them talk,
way
they figured it out. I don't know if it's like the premium version or what, but we'll
no,
see.
the way they do it, if I have to guess, it's like they don't record the audio from Zoom itself. So
Ah,
they record the audio, yeah, but they don't use the audio from Zoom. They record the audio
ah,
separately from separate mic, and then they merge the audio feed from their separate recording into
ah.
the final edit. So they don't use the audio from the recording on Zoom. They
Oh,
record separately.
that's a good one.
That
Yeah.
is all that's what everyone is doing when in terms of like recording multiple stream at a time. They record them
Mm,
separately and then they merge them into the final edit. They record them
mm,
separately all the time.
mm.
But it's a lot of high maintenance and it's too professional for us. We're
Yeah.
not doing that.
No, man. Man, if I had that damn DJ turntable, you know.
Eh, I mean,
Oh,
I wouldn't say turntable, but like you're probably gonna get the
yeah,
most of it, you know.
I'd be doing mixes while we're doing this, just so we don't need to like mix in the music
Sure.
later. That'd be so cool.
Why not?
Oh man, oh cool man. How did you spend your rainy day yesterday?
I was home
Ah.
all day.
Did it rain pretty
Uh
hard where you were too or no?
I'm surprised to go. By the way, I was on
Yeah,
VNexpress trying to do a search for uh, uh,
topics.
things to topics. Yeah,
You know it's funny because like
important.
some people don't notice when they come to, especially Saigon, or
Yeah,
I don't know if this happens in other parts of the country, but you know, you literally can, like, if it's in the daytime, you can like literally, like, if you go across a big street, there'll be times
uh,
when on one side, it'll be totally wet, and then the other side it would be totally dry, right?
it's possible. Yeah,
Because you mentioned, like, you just had like a light shower where I was, thunder and lightning, flooding, right? But like the extreme of that is like it'd be weird. Like you just like go across one street and like what the hell? It's like totally dry,
yeah.
and where the other side was totally drenched.
It happens to be on the border of where it rains and where it did not.
Yeah, exactly. I like we never had that where I lived.
Okay.
Anywhere that I've lived in my life.
Yeah, probably the fact that sometime one specific cloud has higher pressure inside than the other cloud. So
Mm.
that one cloud rain, so the border is very like cut and clear.
Yeah, it's like what happened here. It's like did some water tanker blow up or something, and then you think, oh no, it's just somebody told me, oh no, that's just Saigon. I'm like, oh, because yeah, we all the places I live, Korea, Hong Kong, California, nothing really. We never get anything like this. But like the one that I like is like in Hawaii. They have like they call it like sun rain, where it's like sunny, but you can still it's still raining. And so I think that's like the best of both
In
worlds.
Saigon.
They do that too.
That
They
can
have that
happen.
in. Yeah,
That can happen in Saigon as well. It was like you can see the sun and the rain at the same time.
yeah,
There are
that's so
yellow
cool.
sunlight on the street, but then the sun is coming from that way, that corner, right? But then on top of
Yeah,
your head, the rain is still coming down. So it does happen. Rarer, but it still happens. So, but we can control the weather. Not that we know of. Unless the government have a way to do that secretly. I don't know.
mm.
But otherwise, it's gonna be like that for the next 6 months. So don't hold your breath on that going out anytime soon. It's gonna be like that for a long time. The rainy season is here.
Yeah, man. I was down there, and then there was like a photo shoot going on. So the whole crew was like, huh?
A photo shoot
Yeah, there's a photo shoot under the bridge. We were hiding under the rain, and
of what?
then girls, wedding, that sort of
Okay.
stuff. Yeah.
That
That
time.
that put a damper in your wedding photos for sure. And then like
Uh,
people start just like when it's really start to rain. I don't know where they found cardboard, but they just threw some cardboards on the street and just like took a nap. That's Vietnam.
what's the context of your background this time?
Hold on real quick. Well, this is well, well, it's pretty obvious that it's graduation, right?
But why?
Um, where is Waldo? So where is Sean? Get here. Try to
Oh,
take a.
fuck. Is that your graduation photo specifically?
Yeah,
Oh, Sean's more left. I see.
yeah. So it's graduation season. So I thought I'd bring it up again. We had like
How long?
the faculties over here. This is my class. We graduated in the winter, so
No,
we
no.
had a
How
big
long? Oh,
08, 09.
oh shit.
Yeah, I'm old as dirt.
No, I'm not. No. That's not what. That's not what I'm getting at. I'm
Go
getting at the
ahead.
fact that
It looks like a
you don't really.
Polaroid, right? It's like
I
low
mean, you don't really
quality.
change much. I mean, you look the same, honestly. No.
Oh, thank you.
It's also far away. So, and also you're Asian, so it doesn't really count. So,
Yeah. Oh, you mean the age thing, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Asian, like, it's not like it's not for everyone, obviously, but
Yeah.
like I feel like it's kind of true when people say that kind of thing, like black don't crack, Asian don't raisin, like brown don't frown. It's kind of true.
Wait, wait, wait,
Because
wait. Wait, say that again. I've never heard of that. Go ahead.
black don't crack,
Okay.
Asian
Black don't
raisin,
crack.
and
Asian don't
brown
raisin. What was the last one? Brown don't what?
brown don't frown.
Brown don't frown. Okay. So I get the raisin one, I guess, because we don't wrinkle.
As fast, yeah.
Okay. So what's the crack and what's the frown one?
Black don't crack, meaning like the skin don't have crack as we age.
Oh. Oh, okay. My bad. Different crack. I was like, what? I'm sure they crack.
You
No,
have
no, no.
you haven't heard that before? Like
No,
basically,
that's a new one. I gotta write that
like so.
down.
No, that's the first one people say. Black on crack is the first thing, and then they say
Okay.
Asian raisin,
Okay.
and then but like, those three what they mean the same thing. Like crack, raisin, or frown. They mean the same thing. It means like they have
Wrinkle.
wrinkle on your face. And
Ah.
and there is actually scientific reasoning behind that phenomenon as well. It's not just something people made up in their mind.
Right.
And the reason people with like a shade in their skin tend to age slower is because
Mm,
the color itself. Why do people have color in the skin? It's
mm.
from the melanin, right?
Yeah.
And the melanin are more prevalent in people with like deeper skin tone. You don't have to be super deep, but like if you are brown, if you're like Latin, or if you're
Yeah.
like Filipino, Asian in general, and if
Right.
you're black, you
Right.
have more melanin, and melanin have the effect of like blocking UV radiation from the sun.
Right. Right. The darkened
They
skin, right? Yeah.
yeah,
So
and
better
UV radiation,
protection.
yeah, UV radiation is like aging you, or like what's the word? Physiologically,
Uh, it does more
and if you
damage.
yeah, and if you absorb less of that, you deal with less aging. So black
Mm.
age the least of all
Right.
because they have the most amount of melanin, and then brown, then
Mm.
Asian. But if you don't have any melanin at all, let's say if you're like Irish, like very, very pale, very like ginger in that territory, you
Mm.
develop freckle, you develop like age spot, you develop the brown spot on your
Mm.
either your shoulder or your face very quickly, and that is and then the wrinkle. Yeah, so it happens to be a factor. So
That's an
uh,
interesting hypothesis. My that
no,
sounds.
it's
I
not
might use that.
it's not
Mm.
it's not a hypothesis. It's a well-known, pretty
Wow.
much scientific fact at this point. If you look it up, like why like at certain ethnicity age slower,
Right.
it's a clear reason why. So it's not speculation. It's very well-known thing.
Mm.
Yeah.
The only
And
the only thing I know about black people is like they say like they have really white pearly teeth. It's just like when they're in the dark, when they smile, all you can see is the
okay.
their teeth.
I don't think it's necessarily true. I think it appear
I know,
whiter
yeah.
because you know the
The
contrast, but
contrast,
I don't
yeah.
think. Yeah, but I don't think there's any genetic component to make anyone from any ethnicity have whiter teeth or like
Mm.
less white teeth. If anything, the only thing that can affect that is your diet. Like if you drink a lot of coffee, if you smoke more, so you drink more tea, you have more. Like if you drink a lot of wine, you're gonna have more likelihood of saying your teeth. So
Mm.
unless you have to like take like deliberate step to take care of that to get ahead of that same thing. So if you drink a lot of
Mm.
coffee, you have to rinse your mouth like after every sip. If you smoke a lot, you have to, rinse your mouth with like hydrogen peroxide, whatever. I don't know whether that works, by the way. It just, you have to take extra care to make sure that you don't stain your teeth. Like if you drink a lot of wine, same story. But there's nothing to do with if you're black, your smile's wider. Probably not true. If I have to guess, just a contrast.
Yeah. All right, we'll just go straight into it. The first thing on the docket today is I picked this one. It's called the title is "I Refuse to Buy Veggies because Seller Doesn't Accept Non-Cash Payments." So this person went to buy veggies at a wet market, which is similar to like a farmer's market in Vietnam, and he wanted to purchase something for about $3, and he asked if the vendor accepted bank transfers or credit card or debit card, and when uh, when he found out that they don't, he just refused to get the cash, and he made a fuss about it. Then the original vendor had to go register for a QR code. I think believe the second time he came around, she was really excited to come over to do some business here and buy some veggies from her again. Um, so I'll start with my thoughts about this. Let's just try to do it on the micro scale, which is Vietnam. Um, like there's a lot of news nowadays about the young generations using cashless. And there was another article that we didn't pull up today that says like there's a correlation between like young people using like cashless um,
Yes.
payments and them not being able to budget. And so by the end of the month, when they see their bank statement, they're kind of in shock because they're just like buy, click, click, click. And this obviously gets into the e-commerce, Amazon, Lazada, Shopee realm. Um, but yeah, going back to this one, this specific example, I would say it's kind of very inconvenient to do a $3 transaction with cashless, right? Um, especially if it's an old person. Um, I'll go on a little bit of a tangent. Like the Vietnamese government here, right, has been wanting to make gold exchanges um, have a paper trail. So either the bank transfers or credit, right? And
Yeah.
even the Chinese government doesn't do this because they mentioned that old people don't know how to like set up these kind of electronic payments.
Yeah.
So even if the Chinese government, who like to maintain security per se, right, admit that old people have a hard time handling technology, right? I think it's a little bit of too much expectation to ask for a vendor to have a QR code ready or have a bank transfer ready or have a POS, one of those like credit card scanners on call, especially at a wet market, right? And so I think, I mean, I know this for a fact because there are transaction fee for the vendors too, right? So it's kind of
credit card.
yeah. And then like to set up the system and to have like I know one of those devices costs $50 to $100, right? So I think it's a little bit inconsiderate to expect an old lady, selling fresh produce or fresh fish and meat to have this. And so
Let's be clear. In this article in particular, they're not talking about having like a credit card swipe machine. Just about having an account so they can transfer wirelessly. That's all there is. Which is any fee. You just have to open an account, QR code.
Right.
So it's not the same situation.
Yeah, and then with the background about that is like if you're an old person, you got to go to like the bank.
Go to the bank.
You have to set it up, right?
Yeah.
And then like how the vendors, they have to confirm that they received it too, right? So that requires setting up a notification system, a smartphone, right? Come on, like dude, my mom, she's in her 70s, like she has a hard time with FaceTime, right? She when I call her, sometimes she's on the other camera. Like, how do you flip the camera? Right. But anyway, so it's just like a fun little thing. I know. Like if they do, on the flip side, right? The benefit if the old lady were to set this up, she can set up a QR code, print it out one time, have one of her grandson, granddaughter, relatives set it up for her, and that might, make the process less
easier
and less friction, right? But a little bit of a side thing, like the guy, I'm assuming he's riding a motorbike. He should have cash for other things that we should not talk about on the street, right? Already on hand, right? So I don't understand why he doesn't have a couple of dollars on cash ready. It's kind of weird how that goes. I'll go a little bit more into the budgeting part of why I think e-commerce might not be the best form of transaction for young people. But let me hear your thoughts about this.
Well,
light it up first. By the way, what are you smoking? By the way, is it different now?
Captain Black.
Oh, okay. I don't think I've ever seen you like smoke that while we face to face. Am I correct?
You don't see me what?
Smoking the Captain Black.
Sometimes, just not every time. Because when I meet you in person, I tend to want something stronger. So I go with, by the way, I have 3 options today that I didn't go with. Of course, the good old Tuscanello as usual. But I also go back to the Sumatra number 9, which I also like. And I got this new one, chocolate Imperial,
right?
Massive way, and I haven't tried it. It's a brand new. I haven't opened it yet. So
and the links for all these are down below. If anybody wants to support the channel,
it's not just a joke. Not sponsored.
I'm playing. No, we should. Goddamn A. Captain Black, call us, please.
I love Tuscanello in particular, so I'm gonna support them forever, even if they, also they're very sociable to smoke. It smells very nice, even around people who don't smoke. Tuscanello to smell very nice, so I enjoy that a lot. But anyway, go back to what we're talking about. If you're making a fuss that like a wet market vendor doesn't have a QR code or a way for you to pay over your phone, it's a bit too much. Like, there's nothing to make a fuss about. But also, if you're a vendor and you complain about people are asking for it, I don't think there's ground for complaining, because at the end of the day, I I
The
feel like
customer is always right.
not
Not
no,
that.
the
No.
customer not always right. No, it's not true.
Okay, what? Okay.
And what I was going to say, like, I'm going to sound like a broken record here, but I'm going to repeat the same thing that I always said.
Mhm.
Is it comes down to the free market, free
Mm.
transaction between two individuals. So
Yeah.
you offer what you want to offer, and people will get what they feel like is fair for them. So if you don't want to offer mobile payment, then don't. It's fine. It's a
Absolutely.
free market.
Mm.
And if other vendor around you are offering it and get more sales, then it's your own fault that you don't have it. So it's a free market. You do
True.
whatever you want.
True.
And also vice versa for the buyer. If you find that this stall don't have mobile payment and you don't like it, you go to the next stall. You don't
Mm.
have to complain. You don't have to yell to anyone. You don't
Right.
like it, go to the next stall.
Right.
Free market. Do whatever you want. So that out of the way, let's go to
Yeah.
personally, I stand with this buyer in particular. I feel like cashless payment is very convenient,
Right.
and there are a lot of scenario where cash payment is a hassle, and I
Mm.
don't want to make it all cash or all cashless. They are both terrible. I want
Right.
it to be optional, and I want the free market to dictate whether or not they should have cashless payment option.
The right
Feel
use
free to do,
case, right?
yeah. And if we leave it to the free market, it will regulate itself out every single time that I know of.
Mm.
Meaning, I feel like it's very rare to find a vendor on the street that does not offer cashless payment these days. It's very rare. If you go to the wet market where the vendor are more on the older side, yeah, sure. A lot of them are not familiar with technology. They don't know how to set up a bank account. They don't know how to put up a QR code. They can do that once and forget about it, but many of them don't bother because their sale is not bad.
Mm.
It's a wet market. The customer probably also. Like younger people probably go to like BHX or Mini Mart or Co-op Smile, whatever. It's more convenient for
Supermarkets,
young.
right?
By the way, the price is the same. A lot of old people have this conception that, oh, the wet market is going to be cheaper. No, not true.
Yeah.
In fact, I find that supermarket grocery may a lot of time are cheaper than the wet market stuff. They're more regulated, the way they're packaged, the way they're priced as well. So personally, I find the shopping experience in supermarket are superior than a wet market. So I don't have any reason to want to go to wet market ever again. Unless if I want to buy a really fresh seafood, like fresh seafood, like a live seafood, you don't get a lot of them in supermarket. You have to go to the wet market. Yeah, that is the one exception. But otherwise, I don't shop at the workers. So I don't know. But if you do shop at the wet market, you probably order as well. Meaning both the buyer and the seller are both also so they don't have much of an incentive to start like having a bank account, having a phone with the bank app. So the wet market vendor are doing fine without cashless payments. So once in a while, there's somebody in their 20 or early 30 going in asking for like a QR code or like a Momo app. Yeah, it can be okay. Once in a while, I'll meet this person requiring certain type of payment. Not that big of a deal. So I can see from the free market point of view why vendor don't want to have that because they're doing fine about it, and why younger buyer want to have that as well. But and then I forget that. But me personally, so I could give you a few examples where cash payment is a hassle and not an option. So for example, you know this already that I do my bike ride in the morning somewhere between 5:30 and 7 in the morning around that time to avoid traffic, and the road is more breathable. And by the time I'm back home around 6:30 or 7, I will stop in like a banh mi stall somewhere, or like a sticky rice stall, or like a pho stall. I'll get like my breakfast here and there, and there's no way I'm gonna bring my wallet on like a bicycle ride. It's like like my bicycle, like the clothes that you wear when you're cycling already don't have like a big pocket to begin with. So I don't I have with my headphones, and then I have my phone in the compartment on the bike. That's all there is.
Right.
I don't have a space for my wallet, nor I want to bring my wallet in that setting. It's unnecessary, and so I want to be able to pay with my phone. And if it's not an option, I have to leave because I don't have cash with me at all times. But other than that, there are scenarios. So, for example, if let's say I have, you mentioned earlier that you should, if you commuting on the road with your motorbike in Vietnam, you should have some cash for a reason that we shouldn't
get into. Yep.
But even
for that situation, it rhymes with Comey Murphy. Okay, I'll go with that.
It kind of does, yeah. Okay. Well,
okay.
And so but even for that scenario, I don't have change. I have like a big bill, like 100, 200, 500. Like it's not gonna be more than a million in my wallet, but it's also in very big bill as well.
Right.
So if you buy like, I don't know, $3 a vegetable and you give people like a 200, 500, you have to wait for them to give you the change. And all right, maybe I'm alone this one, but I personally think cash especially cash in the wet market, are
filthy, dirty, virus laden.
So they're handling like raw food.
Right. Like, okay, that's a good point. Hygiene.
Raw fish. And then they use their hand. They still have the juice of the raw meat and the raw fish. They handle the game. Right. Do I want to put that cash back in my wallet? Fuck no.
Okay. Typically, that's a good point. Fair point.
I roll those change up and put it in my separate pocket, so I can go home. I can air them out. I don't want the experience. Again, if you're not, good for you. But like personally, I don't want to have my wallet smell like raw fish. No, thank you. And it's just like a common experience. So I don't want that. And even if you don't worry about that kind of thing, it's still you have to wait for them to change, and you count them, and sometimes they don't have the change.
The right.
You have to wait around. Hey, they have to break that bill into smaller bill using people around. So imagine you go on a Grab ride, right? Which costs, I don't know, 30, 25, something like that. And then you get to your destination, and then you get down, and you have to, and then you found out that the guy doesn't have the change to give it back to you, but you only have a 500. And then what do you do?
Yeah.
To me, it's a waste of time. And life is very short as it is. I don't want to waste more time. So for me, cash is a non-negotiable for a lot of small transactions like that, like buying a banh mi, buying buying like Grab ride, going to like Family Mart for like a bottle of water. I'm not gonna wait for change for that. And
so you're saying, you're saying for smaller transaction, cash is a hassle.
I'm saying there are.
But there's always a different use case. Yeah, go ahead.
There's a strong case to be made for cashless payment to be utilizable in certain type of transactions.
Absolutely,
particularly those with like small amount of payment. So I don't want to have to every single time.
Okay.
With that being said, I will never support a system where it's 100% cashless. I want cash to remain an option at all times. So, for example, there are opposite scenario where you cannot pay with your phone. You have to pay with cash. So, for example, I'm not talking about like buying drugs. Like you should. I don't buy drugs or do drugs or condone it in any way, shape, or form. But let's say if you want. So for me, if I go back to my hometown, right, which is a beach town, and if I want to go to the beach and do some round of swimming or want to hang on the beach, I'm not gonna bring my fucking phone. You're on the beach. You can't protect your belonging. You can't leave your phone on the sand and you go down to swim. So you only have your cash with you. So I put on my swim trunk and I walk down with like maybe 100K in my wallet, in my pocket, not even a wallet, just 100K or maybe like 50 with smaller bill in my pocket. We want to buy like a small snack here and there. I want to use a shower, or I want to buy like, whatever. But it's a scenario where you don't want to bring your phone. So there are use case for both situations where sometimes you can only pay with cash or you can only pay with your phone. But so I want both to remain an option. So I don't Okay, so honestly, setting up a QR code is not that much work, honestly. So even if you don't want to know how to do it, you can ask your son, your daughter, your nephew, whatever, to set up once. By the way, it doesn't cost any fee. Just print out a QR code that will represent your bank account number, so you can scan it, you can pay it. And why, if I was a vendor, I would definitely do anything in my power to make sure that I have the most amount of sale possible, right? So it increasing payment option, increasing in sale. So the nagging is uncalled for, but this suggestion is a welcome one. I think it's a good idea that those kind of things have cash payment option. And I support both point of view. Personally, I really love cash payment. It's very convenient. I can't even remember the last time I paid anything with cash. Which is a small amount anyway. So if it's a big amount, I don't mind pulling out cash because I don't. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Fair point. I think everything you said is valid, and like I said, like there's always use cases, different use cases, different situations, different amounts, different vendors. It's weird because I hear stories about some people buying houses, bringing in Vietnam, they bring like a suitcase full of cash. But I don't know what that means. It's just like a weird thing they might have here.
Sometimes
maybe we don't want to get into that. Yeah, why?
No, in my lifetime, I've seen people like bringing in like an actual
gold
massive
bars
bag of cash to pay the gold bar, or they travel in a massive pack to make sure they're not robbed up, and they arrive to the notary office to legitimize the deed, and then they pull out a big bucket like bro.
What'd you
But
get?
then legally they can do that.
Yeah. All right, let's just bypass that. But I'll say something positive. Okay, so I think in this article they also mentioned that the lady, I forgot to mention, the lady offered to start a tab. If I could find it, right?
I read that too.
Yeah.
I would rather let them buy on credit than accept cashless payment.
Or a credit card, right?
Yeah. No, credit, like literally credit, like start a tab so you can pay it back next time. But like I don't want to start a bank account or things like that.
Yeah.
Very
Right. So the seller offered to let him put on a tab and pay her next time, which I think this is a good gesture. My point is like I actually like the social aspect of the wet market. So everything you say is true now. Like wet market, similar prices to supermarket, more convenience, but you're not talking to like the farmer or like a human. I would say, you go in there talking to an employee. They're just trying to get in, hour out, right? But I truly,
you don't even it's very commercialized.
Yeah, exactly. So I appreciate that. Like, look, the woman offered to put a tab. I don't think any supermarket would ever do that, right?
Of course.
I owe you later. And I just like having the social aspect of talking to these old ladies, they or elderly men.
It's a very Vietnamese thing. People are very sociable. Hey, don't wait. I know you from a block away, right? You can pay me later.
Thanks. I think that's very innocent and very very
it's very cute.
Cute for soup for the soul kind of thing. Now the reason is like you don't know the West. The West doesn't have any of this. The only time you can talk to like a farmer is at a farmer's market, right? You go to Whole Foods or you go to Walmart, Costco, right? These people are just like detached from the interaction, and there's like no relationship. But that's a little side thing. Like I appreciate the
cohesion, the social cohesion here. It's
absolutely
very strong.
But
it's still very homogeneous.
Absolutely. But then I was mentioning the part about the budgeting, right? So I just want to go into a little bit about that, where we talk about cashless payment leading to putting many people into debt.
Okay, I'm guessing you about to trash how Zoomers
right?
their money.
Yeah. See, like I assume I wouldn't spend as much because I didn't see the money in my wallet,
Yes.
right?
Okay.
Because of wide acceptance of bank transfers and card payments, right? And so it's just like a number, right?
Yeah.
They don't really like quantize the actual use of their money and their accounts. And
They don't
so
see it going out.
right,
Just a number on it. They don't see it going out.
yeah. And then cash has this problem too, because like if you use like $100 bills, or in Vietnam would be like 500,000, right? It looks so insignificant. It's just like one piece of bill, right? So
Yeah.
like some people they have a way like they only like have 20s or tens in the wallet. I know it'll be like a thick wallet, but at least they're like counting the money. They're going like they're actively like conscientiously doing it. They're mindful of it, right? We have like there's like a new system that's coming back. It's called the envelope system. Um, so the envelope system, like you basically delegate your budget in cash in these envelopes, right? So it'll be
Okay.
one for entertainment, one for food, one for transportation, et cetera, right? And so every month, if you do that, at the end of the month, you'll know how much is in each bundle, right? And I found that actually, if you're having trouble budgeting, right? Because I think personal finance is something that very lacking in education nowadays, right? Uh, and so like if you start out with that, like if you have problem budgeting, or you like some of these Zoomers or who have like or just shocked that their account went basically down to zero when they're not cognizant of it, I think like if you want to like start to budget, maybe a good start would be doing that envelope because you're mindful of it, and it's just not like a number that just gets shot in and out, and there's like no warning, no no guardrails for your expenses. Well, so what do you think?
Yeah, it's purely psychological. So yeah, of
Yeah.
course. The money doesn't become more or less prevalent because you use cash or your phone. It's just like the matter of noticing it.
Mm,
So if you make the same amount in every month, but like if you spend it and you really see it physically coming out of your wallet, so you see the
mm,
bill physically going out, it's gonna make you become a little bit more mindful of how quantifiable and how finite amount of money that you have.
mm,
But
mm,
like with more payment, like you don't see anything. Like, okay, I
mm.
just put my phone in, beep, and then I'm paid. I'm done. I don't have to do anything else. Just go.
Yeah,
And then or
right.
credit card, like credit card is like the biggest downfall of Western Zoomer spending. I feel like yeah, it's
Mm,
so easy when you swipe. And I saw some interview that people did on YouTube Zoomer. Some of the people, I kid you not, they don't even know how credit card works. All
wow.
they know is that you go in, you swipe a card. They thought this is money just appear out of thin air and just
Goes
pay
on
for it.
tree,
They
right? Yeah. Hmm.
literally do not know that the credit card just mean like you have to pay it back later. They don't even know that. I'm not kidding. Some people
Right.
don't actually know that you have to pay it back. Okay,
Yeah.
what do you mean?
Right.
Just like pay. No, you have to pay it back. So the act of being able to pay without having to see the consequence of paying for something, it
Mm,
really hurts people's ability to budget in
mm,
general. They are not aware of how much money they're spending because they don't know. They don't know the that you're spending money. It doesn't come out of anywhere.
mm,
So credit card is quite a trap for people who are not enough with the financial responsibility.
mm.
But with that being said, it's not a reason to advocate for like a cash only payment system indefinitely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which we're
obviously,
not
but
here. Absolutely.
yeah, it helps. But you can do the same thing with by the way, there's a lot of budgeting app where they apply the same principle of like the enveloping. They divide the money that you input into
Mm,
quadrant. This is for housing, this is for food, this is for entertainment, this is for saving and things like that. But
yeah.
none of that works at the end of the day. None of that work if you don't know what you're doing. So
Mm,
uh I think I think that is a big reason why Zoomer are so bad with money these days. Sure, but there's another. But if I have to pick like the number two reason is that the standard of living is sort of
Cost of
been
living, you mean?
improved.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Cost and the standard as well, both. The standard of living and the living had been like increasing rapidly in the past like 2 decades and 20 years, like going up like considerably. And I feel like I might be going off topic a little bit here, but I feel like a little bit of it like has something to do with social media as well. So I'll tell you why.
Sure.
So when I was still working at my old job, and when we have like an outing event, like an outing, or like we hang out after work and all that, not company event, like outing event, we have to pay for ourselves, right? And you kind of notice that the younger generation are really spending their money based on how they think others are spending their money. So, for example, if they see this review on TikTok of the restaurant or this bar, oh my God, it's so trendy. I want to go here. Everyone is a picture and all that. So they want to spend a bunch. They want to spend $15 for a drink at a certain bar. Layla, what it's called?
Which is a lot. Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. $15 a drink is definitely a lot, but they want to do that anyway because they believe that everyone is doing it. Everybody's reviewing it on TikTok, so they feel like they want to do it as well. They don't want to feel left out, and they feel like if they don't do it, they're gonna be perceived as, you know, quote unquote poor, and they don't. And what a toxic mindset to have. Like, what the fuck? Like, you're not poor because you don't want to spend $15 for a drink. It's fine, and if anything, thinking that way makes you poor.
Yeah, that's a good point. Interesting.
I don't want to trash on anyone for thinking so, but like I feel like only poor people think that way. Only poor people feel like they have to impress people by the way they spend money. That is such a poor people mindset to have. Like, bro, nobody is gonna think you're rich because you pay $15 for a drink. Anybody can pay $15 for a drink. It's a matter of whether you can afford it or not. By the way, being able to pay for something is not the same thing as being able to afford it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like if you scout every single resource that you have, like every single favor, if you scrape the bottom of your barrel to buy, let's say, a car, yeah, you can pay for a car, but it doesn't mean you can afford a car. It's a different thing.
Absolutely.
So you can pay for a $15 or $20 drink, sure, but you cannot afford it to do. We're talking about I mean, I can tell you, I mean, I don't know how much he made, but the fact that he is his first job out of college, and he was our intern like only a few months ago, and now he's like become an official employee for the first month. You don't make them $500 a month.
Yep.
I know that. Okay, I know.
Not even close to 500.
I would say it's about 500 if I had to bet. I mean, the IT job market is very stable when it comes to like, you know,
even as entry level, you're making over 10 million.
Entry level in IT is going to be $500 around that. Yeah.
Okay.
Last time I checked, which is about a year ago. Now it might be a little bit more or less. I don't know, but like 500 on your first job is this standard. Like if you are exceptional, you can make 1,000 a month on your first job. Maybe a little bit less than 500, but it's around 500. I would say is the average expected. Like, you know, how much you make in your first month of your first job in IT, $500. It could be 1,000 if you're very knowledgeable, but other than that, yeah. So I don't think it's wise to spend $50 on one night of hanging out with your friends at work on a weekend, and you do it every single week. It's not a good idea.
Yep.
I don't know. I know you can, but I don't think you should. And then I noticed that habit a lot where, hey, and then they watch Instagram, they watch TikTok, and they want to imitate that lifestyle that other people have, that they think they should aspire to. Yeah, good idea. You can aspire to be, you know, well off. Of course, it's a good idea, but you're not there. Yeah, what are you doing?
Yeah, there's stories about influencers that are going on like fake private charter jets that are it's just a studio. So That's the
Yeah.
extreme version of it. Continue.
So yeah, that's what I was alluding to. So the second most important reason why Zoomer are being broke is because of that. So first, they are not good with their money, and second, they spend a lot of money that they don't have as well, because they trying to imitate a certain lifestyle that they are not there yet. And then I'm like, okay, I've been working for much longer than you do. So if I pay for a $15 drink, it's fine. I can justify that, but you are not there yet. If you want to, sure, it's your money. You do what you want. But like, if you keep doing this, you're not going to be able to buy a house or a car ever. And they don't see that. They don't see it. They don't see it the way that you describe it. They feel like
they don't have the foresight. Yep.
Yeah, they see people doing it on social media and they want to have that right now, even at the cost of having zero saving at the end of every single month. So if you keep and they keep doing that, and they just work for like 2-3 years and they have zero saving, like they are one layoff away from being on the street or being back to their parents' house. So,
but that's a good safety net though, because like at least Vietnam, like your family will save you, your family will take you in, which I appreciate.
Yes,
the difference between
your
the West
family will save you every single time,
absolutely,
and at the same time.
Yep.
And yes, so yeah, and I'm not like clear of this crime, by the way. So I mentioned it last time that my parent did pay for my full period of education. That is true. By the way, it's not that much. I like if you tally it all up, the cost of my education is very cheap. So I can pay them back. I did pay them back in other ways. So I don't feel bad about it. But so like, God forbid, if I was in a situation where I need a place to live, my parent would not let me go homeless. And that's true for most parents. My own parent in Vietnam, they would happily take back their child in their own home. They would cook for them until they're back to fit again. So it's just like a family cohesion unit, traditional value in Vietnam, where family stick together, kind of like that. That is good in a way that good family value and all that. So of course, a good thing, but like it's also a bad thing because like it always is safe. It's always there. So it gives younger people, the Zoomer, like a peace of mind that I can spend a little bit more than I should have. But at the end of the day, my parents will be there for me for now. Yeah, but they gotta be there forever. You have to. You have to set you up in a way that you can survive by yourself. Like like in your 30 or 40, your parents are gonna be in the 70 and 80s. You're not gonna be able to rely on them. No, you should. So you better develop the skill to not spend all of your paycheck on things to impress people on your TikTok feed for no apparent reason. Yeah. So bad spending, trying to impress people for no reason. And by the way, you're not impressing anyone. Because everyone is doing that. You're doing the same thing as everybody is doing. If you really want to impress them, buy a house 10 years from now. That would be really impressive. When you're still struggling, when they're still trying to impress people, you have a house. That would be impressive. Do that instead.
And I'll say like the people who have the money, they know exactly who have like what are the telltale signs of someone who has money, who is rich, who's made contribution to society and has gotten rewarded. So it's not like you're not fooling anyone.
Like if you are trying to impress people with the way you buy things, the way you spend money, you're definitely poor. Only poor people do that shit. So, but
I'll say my last point, like Warren Buffett, I think he still rides around in like a 10-15-year-old pickup truck. You look at all like the Silicon Valley guys, they wear like the same shirt every day, right? They don't wear jewelry. I like most people, like I know you hate Apple watches, but that's all they wear is Apple watches. They don't even wear like a Swiss. I know. So but I digress. Hey, so let's speaking of family,
before we move on, one last thing.
Yeah, sure.
Can I just say on the other end of the spectrum, we have rich people doing poor people thing, where they drive like an old car and they're wearing the same every day.
Oh, they're cheap.
Personally,
they're really frugal sometimes, dude. Really, really.
Yeah, and what I'm about to say is that I feel like they're full of shit as well.
We could talk about one certain cohort of people that shall not be named.
I don't believe
that
that
are
how they
bankers
their life.
that are very cheap. But we shall not name names.
Okay. Well, okay. Personally, I think they're for sure, because I don't believe for a second that that's actually their lifestyle. They just want to, again, it's just a guess. I can't read their mind, obviously, but it's the point of being rich if you're just doing that shit. Like, okay, here's the thing. It might be true that they are driving like not a supercar. Sure, maybe like is like what is Warren Buffett gonna do in a supercar anyway? So he's old. He can't drive that well. He's old, right? So he has his driver right for him. So he doesn't need a supercar. So he can drive a Toyota and get away with it. Yeah, sure. And he doesn't wear expensive clothing. He's old. Who is he going to impress? Like some supermodel? Why? You know, he's old. And he doesn't need to wear expensive stuff to impress a supermodel. So he doesn't need to. But he's going to have other hobby that are insanely expensive. Like, okay, golfing. The fact that he wear normal clothing, he drive like a normal car, doesn't mean shit. When he have access to expensive country club, he play golf, he go to restaurant that you
best
cannot
doctors,
go to,
hospital,
best healthcare, best hospital, best access to the best network. You know, you can go to the yacht party. Yeah, you can wear like a $50 t-shirt, and then you can go to like a $50 million yacht. Okay, so I feel like those were a little bit like full of shit as well. So
okay, I'll tell you. So, go ahead.
So yeah, if you have a lot of money and you work for it, I mean, I definitely will not be against go out like wear expensive stuff, having like expensive watch, like it's fine, do it, but you don't have to be so pretentious about it. I'm humble. It's not necessary. Okay, so I don't like either of the spectrum. The poor pretend to be rich, obnoxious, and the rich pretend to be poor is a bit pretentious as well. So and they're not pretending that they're that well. They do that small thing in a cheap way, but then they do every other thing in an expensive way where they don't tell you about. They just don't want you to feel bad. That's all, which is nice. Yeah, but I digress. So what were you about to say?
Yeah, so I'll give you a practical way since we're talking about poor and rich people. So I knew a family of immigrants, right? 5 brothers. And they're not mine. I wish this was my family. But 5 brothers with wives and children. And
all 5.
Then they all lived in the same house.
Okay.
But they had a Ferrari. And I go, man,
Indian style.
Yeah. Right. So
big family.
They're South Asian to be specific. And I said,
yeah,
okay. Yeah.
I knew that.
Yeah. Good guess, right? So they and I wish this was like more in the Vietnam realm, but I think there's a lot of bickering, which will tie into the next thing on the docket. But they had a Ferrari. And like, I asked them, like, how did you afford that? And they said, like, oh, you Americans, you all about your independence. You want your own house, your own cars. But here we just have one Ferrari. We share our expenses. We share our bank accounts, right? And we don't bicker and be petty and try to like take mine, and what's mine is what's mine, and what's yours is mine as well, et cetera, right? And so I think that's a good way to like kind of live within your budget, but still have the best of both worlds. But speaking of family finances, right? We're always, we on VNexpress especially. There's a lot of like articles, usually in the negative, about families squabbling over land and inheritance and money.
Yes.
But this is one of the positive examples that I've seen, and I think we may want to highlight some of these anecdotes as well. So here, a family. Family of 7, right? They mortgaged their parents' house to get a loan from the bank, and a lot of the other siblings, their businesses failed, but The eldest brother shouldered the remaining debt and spent the next 15 years, trying to pay off that land. And at the end of the day, they talked about that, we didn't let this destroy our family ties. We didn't get foreclosed by the bank. And so I think this is a very positive way of family and filial responsibility that I think is not as highlighted or as in the media as those negative situations. And I just just for my personal thing, I just wish my family did this more, because we're all the uncles and aunts, they're always squabbling about this, and right now they're all doing well, right? But they're still talking about old history. You owe me this, you owe me that, sell this, sell that. And I just wish more of us did like this family, which kind of like, we support each other, or like the South Asian family, where like everything is in everybody's deed, et cetera, right? What are your thoughts about this, Huey?
Yeah, the idea of like grouping together like a mini gang, a mini clan to share the resource. So, for example, if you like five guy, right, with five wife and a bunch of kids, then you can like cover for each other a little bit. Like if like a couple is busy on a certain day, the other will help the aunts and uncle will help like cover the kids, like without having to the grandparents. And if they have a Ferrari, it's kind of like ingenious. So, for example, if they buy their car separately, they will have five car, and each will cost like 50K or 100K. If they,
right,
it wouldn't be fancy. If they group together and spend 500K on one Ferrari or one little fancy car, they can all drive it. Like it's like a timeshare essentially.
right,
And
the timeshare, yeah, that's good.
divided, not that we have Ferrari, but like united, they all have Ferrari they can drive. So it's kind of a good idea, but that requires a lot of like trust, and it requires a lot of understanding on all of their behalf. All right, we are a unit. We stay together. We stand together. We support each other. If one is down, we help pull them up, and vice versa.
Yep.
And I still think that in Asia we have a very strong family structure, but not as strong as the Indian
example.
Example. Yeah, that's kind of extreme. Honestly, I feel like South Asian and also the Middle East. Also, I think like the Muslim world have a very strong family structure as well, right? Yeah. So I think that are a few society where they have like a big family structure where they live together, like a big family, and all that.
In the Asia, opposite of the West, total opposite.
In Asia, it's strong as well, but not that strong. We will have like maybe like three generations in the same house, but they don't live all in the same house with like sibling and all that. Maybe like the grandma, the parent, and the kids will live in one house, but the other sibling will live in different houses. Typically, the responsibility of hosting the old parents are typically falls on the shoulder of the eldest child. Eldest son, typically.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Even today. So I can tell from personal experience that the story that the article was mentioning is not the typical story of most family. So they kind of bicker, they fight, they dispute over who owns what, who are entitled to what of the parents' inheritance, especially that's the case.
Right.
And I really don't want to air my personal laundry here in public.
I'm just going to say to you.
But I can tell you a little bit without giving too much detail is that my family went through something similar, not with all the siblings, but like my dad is one of seven, my mom is one of seven, so there's gonna be like one or two sibling is gonna cause trouble with that kind of thing here and there. And our family went through a little bit of that on my dad's side, and it does wreck your familial relationship with one sibling or two when that happen.
Mm.
Just one, honestly. So my dad's one of seven, and one of those seven is kind of a troublemaker. The rest still band together,
Mm.
and it got bad, and then is so yeah, it's unfortunate that, but like when time is tough, when the economy doesn't do well, when money is
Right.
I mean, how can it be an issue, right? When you have family, you have kids, and money is tight, it's gonna really make you do things that you don't normally do, and sometimes at the cost of severing your other family ties, family bonds, in order to gain some momentarily financial gain.
Mm.
And it's drive families apart, and it does happen. So in this story, apparently what happened is one sibling took out a loan for some business. Unfortunately, it doesn't work out the way that they wanted to work. So
Yeah.
the family band together to support that one sibling financially until they get back on their feet, and then to get back the family ancestral land that were passed out from the parents, to get it back. And it's what the eldest brothers, particularly in this case, was supporting the most and get it back. And then he shared like equally among all the siblings that he had. So it's a one example where you can say that, oh, it's a nice family structure. They support each other. They don't bicker over that kind of thing. But to be fair, it's very hard when money gets tough. When money becomes like a tough topic, it's very difficult to stay that way forever. At the end of the day, you still have to eat. Your kids still have to go to school. Your kids still have to eat. So it's very difficult to make that sacrifice.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot to be able to stay together and to still bond, have a family bond when times are tough. So it's difficult to pull off. But when you do, payoff is going to be immense. So that in the future you have like a structure, like a support system you can rely on, which is immensely valuable. Personally, I don't know of anyone that I know of with the similar structure. So everyone I know of, at least in the past generation, whether they were born in the 70s or the 60s or before, like our parents' generation, essentially, I don't know any family that had kind of structure that I know of. It's kind of rare.
Like the structure in the kind of egalitarian way, or the competitive self way. Which one?
The structure they have in the article that we're talking about. They all live together and support each other, and like a strong clan, like the Indian structure. Yeah. I personally don't know of any family that I know of that have that kind of structure so far, and I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, because the newer generation that were born in the 80s or later, I don't think they have like a stronger bond than our parents had.
Yep.
Our parents,
the stream is definitely going the other way.
Yeah. Our parents already don't have it like our parents already like they didn't have like that good, meaning the family already like in a spot where they don't stick together that strong like the Indians do, or the Muslims do. And people who were born from in the 80s or later, they are straying away from that path even more.
Yeah.
So like
it's a shame.
Yeah, when kids grow up and they go their own way, it's very rarely that they ever think about like moving in with their brother or sister or sibling, or they ever become like a cluster of like a structure or anything like that. No, they just go their own way and they become their own entity. They fly. Like when they leave the nest, they just fly.
Yeah.
And even the parents seem to prefer that. Hey, fly, do your own thing, be independent. Like if you fly back, they'll still host you. They're not going to leave you homeless, but they will prefer that you fly on your own, and they prefer that all the siblings fly on their own direction. So I don't see let's say Vietnam. I don't see Vietnam culture structure will go in a way that will enrich that experience that you were describing. I don't see it happen that way. In short, I think we are becoming more and more Western in general. The way that we do things.
Yep.
The way family works, the way the familial bond goes, the way structure, even like generally the way we spend money, the way we see, the way we date, the way we meet people, the way we raise our kid, everything is becoming more and more Westernized in Vietnam in general. So more and more people are raising their kid with an iPad. More and more people are leaving they're home for work, and they leave the kid with like a nanny, or leave them to preschool, and they don't spend that much time with their kids. They don't even know what they're reading, what they're playing on the computer, what
Yep.
they're watching. They don't really
Yep.
raise their kids. They rely on the system a lot. The system that has its role, but at the end of the day, you still have to be responsible to raising your kids. And then family, like it's very rare to see like be a person in their 40 or the 30 be that close to their siblings. And it's very rare to see cousin being close. It's very rare seeing stuff that you see in like India, for example. Again, I'm sure
Or,
they have
or
their
Indian immigrants in America. That's what I mean.
yeah, immigrant.
Yeah.
Put it that way. Yeah.
They bring that core with them.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that system is not flawed. I'm sure there are flaws with that way as well, and they had their downfall. And we can learn the best from a system and then leave out the worst. We can do that as well. We don't have to learn everything, a certain system.
Yep.
But I'm not very fond of the fact that Vietnam has become more westernized on the cultural aspect.
Agreed. Yep.
I think the Western world has a lot of things going right for them, but it's not the cultural part. It's not the part that we should learn. We should learn a lot of other things, but should not learn the cultural part, like the way they meet people, the way they date, the way they raise their kid, the way they eat,
the way they forgo the seniors when they're of old age.
Yeah, the way they stop their senior in the
nursing homes. Yeah.
Yeah, and you don't even visit them ever. They die in loneliness without any care. You know,
it's very sad.
They sacrifice their whole life for you to be here, and then it's just would you like to be treated that way when you're old? They would say no, but then they treat their elder currently that way anyway.
Exactly.
So we can learn a little bit from one culture and another. We can buy them to make like the best of what we have. And currently, I don't appreciate the fact that we are westernizing our culture too much. Yeah. Again, there are certain things we can learn from the Western culture for sure. For I can name many examples, but like the family structure is not strong in the West, and I don't like that particular part. But yeah, otherwise it's fine. So it's a shame, but that's the only way it's going Vietnam. And personally, I don't know of any other Asian country that are westernized as far as Vietnam did. Does it have something to do with the war? Maybe like during the French occupation or during the American War? We call it the Vietnam War.
So
I'm not sure.
Your question was any other countries in Asia do this, and I would say from personal experience, yes. So I have I have a good friend, Korean American.
Okay.
His grandfather passed away. I might have told you the story, but and my friend was the oldest son of the oldest brother, right? So he has his claim to whatever, the house, the land, his fortunes. But his uncle said that, okay, I took care of him the most while you were away in America, so I deserve everything, right? So this happens a lot in Korea too. They have I think anywhere you see like at family reunions, like, hey, cousin Joe is doing well. He got a home. Uncle this has a new car, right? So there's still that competitive aspect. But like I understand what competition is good. I just don't. I think overall, like having that all for one mentality, which I think is much more better. But I have a question for you, right? Because I don't know this. My practical advice for these type of situation, it's similar to like if you have a spouse, right? I say maintain 3 bank accounts, right? You have one for the one spouse, you have one for the other, and you have like a mutually account that has all the expenses, right? That pays the house, that pays the fee, that pays the tuition for the kids, right? And then everything else is just like extraneous or disposable income, right? I think that's I would behoove most people to follow that system, right? But my question is like, is that something that is common in Vietnam, as far as like who has control of the married couples accounting, right? And like, because I've noticed that, at least from my point of view, like some of the parents, it's usually just always one parent who talks about budget and banking and transfers, and the other is kind of like offhand, like not hands on about that sort of thing. So yeah, that's my those are my question. Like, one, does that system, is it very prevalent here? And secondly, is it more like one person has control, rather than like kind of having like dual ownership of an account?
Okay. Personally, I don't talk to my friend about how their family is handling the money, the financial, so I can't really speak to how most will do it. Like, it's not like my friend would tell me how he and his wife are handling the money. So of course I'm not gonna ask. And not like my brother would tell me about it, or not like I would ask my parent how they do it.
Really?
But
Okay.
no, I'm not gonna ask my parent how they do the money. No.
Okay.
And but traditionally, not like super traditional, like if you're talking about like 200 years ago, like traditionally the man like handle everything, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
He had, but like I mean, like traditionally in the modern world, like let's say post-modern tradition, like post in modern Vietnam, traditionally the wife typically handle the financial,
Oh,
even if the make all the money. Yeah,
wow. That's interesting. I didn't
traditional.
know that.
So the reason behind it is that typically women are better with money. They're better with
I might have to
hey,
push back on that. Keep going, keep going.
hold that laughter. Do not compare to the West. In the West, yeah, maybe you can make the
Oh.
case. On the East, I feel like it might be true that women are better with money. I think it might be true. In my
Better how so?
observation,
Making money or managing? Or what do you mean?
managing
Uh,
money, make sure they
okay.
don't go broke.
Okay.
Not That's why I said even when the husband is the bread winner,
Winner.
even if the mom stay at home, even if the wife stay at home and only raises kid and doesn't bring in the income, only the husband works, right? Even if that's the case, it's still the default, the expected default that the wife manage how the money is spent.
Wow.
And because people typically believe that women are better with money, and I feel that's kind of true, because I'll tell you a little bit about my experience with how men and women spend money in Vietnam. I feel like the big purchases that can have a big impact on the financial of a family are mostly come from men.
For
So
men.
men, like
Uh,
who wants to buy a car? Men.
who wants to splurge?
Yeah. Yeah. Splurge.
I might have to push back, but keep
Again,
going.
you might disagree, it's fine. But like in my personal
Yeah.
experience, I feel like men spend way more in Vietnam in general than women. In my
Okay.
experience. So
Okay.
yeah, so weekend, hang out with friends, like big
Wait.
spending on.
When you mean by spend more, are you mean spending on the essentials, like cars,
Not
houses, or
this,
you said not on the
not this,
non-essential? So men,
on the non
you
men
you're talking about
more.
you're talking about Zoomers spending $15 drinks. You think that's more prevalent with young men?
Men, yes.
Okay. All right.
Again, I might be wrong, but I'm just talking about what I observe.
Okay.
It might
Personal.
be
Sure.
maybe, yeah, maybe
Yeah.
my sample size is a little bit like lopsided compared to the average. Maybe that's the
Okay.
case, but I'm just
Cool.
talking about my observation.
Mm.
Yeah, like a typical husband will hang out with his friend like on the weekend, like going to like a chow
Chug and
and
chow.
drinking chuck and chow place.
Oh, chug and chow is a word I made up. It just means like there's a concept of like men or some women, we just drink all day while eating food and talking. So the term is nyao, but I just made a chug and chow, means they chug beer
Yeah,
and they're just chowing on food for hours and hour. not your typical pub or bar experience. But I digress. Go ahead.
Well, that's what I meant. Yeah. So again, let's be clear. I'm narrowing my experience to like a family setting, meaning it's a married couple, maybe with 1 or 2 kids. Like I'm not talking about like unmarried couple. I'm not talking about single people. I'm not talking about people who are married but without kids yet. I'm talking about like a married couple with 1 or 2 kids or more, right? Married couple with kids. In that sample size alone, I feel like men spend way more than women on the United stuff. Gambling issue are mostly men. And in Vietnam, we do have a problem with gambling, like sport betting, playing card, gambling in general, and like going on like an extravagant weekend trip with his friend, like going on like a expensive restaurant, drinking expensive beer, buying expensive wine and alcohol, and maybe hiding from their wife the fact that they're spending it on like certain club, a karaoke bar where the women are, when young women are around, they do that shit without telling you. Well, of course.
Real quick, related to the gambling thing. What's that number thing that I always see people doing? It's like a Sudoku thing, and it's like I see a lot of people like being like they manage that money where it's all about numbers. Is that like a lotto thing, like a private lotto that people play? That's
I think you're talking about lot, right?
No, not the actual like lotto ticket, but I've seen people like it's like soul or something like that. No,
I can't recall what you're saying. Maybe it's something that if you have a word for it, I may know what you're talking about. But I think that
shoot. Okay. Anyway, continue. Never mind.
Anyway, so yeah, married men with family here, they not all, of course, but like a lot of them have like a gambling issue when they gamble without telling their wife. They spend money on stupid thing, like they go to expensive places with their friends and they spend a lot of money initially. While a woman, typically a woman with a family, with kids and all that, all right, she would have to manage, all right, the tuition is this much for the kids, food is this much, amenity like power bill, water, like or the house payment if they're paying for the house payment, everything like that. It seems to me like with a married couple with kids, the women tend to be way more frugal and more financial conscientious than the typical men. In my experience, like if you're single, it might be not the case. So it might be, okay, I'm single, I don't have a wife yet, I need to save up for my marriage, I need to save up to buy a house. And a woman like, okay, I need to look pretty, I need to buy that new whatever. So yeah, you can make the case. I can't tell for single people, but like most of my friends are like, a lot of my friends are like married with kids. So from my experience, men spend way more and they are less good with money than women. So even with a family where the man makes most of the money, he would still sometimes willingly, but sometimes grudgingly, they would hand over the power to manage the money to their spouse. Okay, so I'm gonna bring home my paycheck, but I'm gonna put it deposit directly into our joint account. I'll keep about, I don't know, 10 or 20 million to myself for my personal spending, but then the rest I will put it in our joint account, and then you can decide where we spend that money. And
is that like because I've noticed that, like, now that you mentioned that, I remember now that like the companies that I work for, the Vietnamese companies that I work for here, the accounting team department are all, most if not all, women. Is that yeah, right? Okay, so you make a good point there.
There might be a bias in hiring there because, like, again, not all, but the cultural aspect in Vietnam dictate that most like women, especially like older and married women with like a family, they
responsible ladies,
responsible with their financial spending in general. And in my experience, this is be true. And in my but if we get away from the general and we get to the specific, like the one that I know for sure, like my mom is 100% better with money than my dad. 100%.
True.
My mom is way more conscientious with spending, and
same with my parents too. Yeah.
And my brother, the one that I'm living with at the moment, like we share the same house. And just to be clear, this house is my house and my brother's house. We both our name are on
the other house, right? I mean the other brother. Sorry.
the brother I'm living with
Ah.
right now. Yeah. So both are our name on the house, and we have this house before his marriage. So this has nothing to do with his wife. So so I noticed that like who bought the car? He did. I mean, it was a joint decision for sure, but he has to go through his wife to buy a car or to buy. By the way, they have other property that they don't live in. They choose to live here in this house, but they have other property that they either an investment or they put up for rent. But then all those decisions are a joint decision, and I can tell that his wife is managing the money and not him. So the kids' tuition, what you buy, where you buy. I mean, she's not that uptight about it, but like she want to be able to. She would love to be like involved in the conversation and would like to be involved in that kind of thing. And I can notice that my brother has to be a little bit frugal with how he spend money on his personal enjoyment. Like I know that like the other day when we were talking about, hey, the next time when the AC maintenance guy comes in, can you get it for both of us? I need to clean my AC unit as well. Okay, it's about 250 each. And I really that expensive? I didn't know. I thought it would be like, I don't know. He didn't know the cost of that kind of thing because most of the time his wife paid for it. So he was complaining about the price of this and that, which tells me that his wife is like controlling the spending of the family, even though he bring in most of the money, not his wife. And maybe not today, but like yeah. So so my mom and my sister-in-law are both better with money than their respective husband. And for other people that I know around me, I feel like that's the case as well. I feel like married men are kind of bad at managing money.
Cool.
But single people, I don't know. But yeah. So and also and not only that, but if like you have a son and he is not married yet, right? You kind of want your son to find a woman to be like good with money as well. So let's say if like when my brother was still like dating, my parent would ask a question like, hey, is she good with money? You don't want to marry one who are like the devourer of money. It's not good for the family, You want to marry someone who is good with money, who care about the future prospect of your kid, worry about the future, thinking about, hey, do we, that kind of thing. And people traditionally believe that women are better with that kind of thing, which I happen to believe so. But when I told you that, your initial reaction seems to be laughing. I'm guessing because you're comparing us to the Western culture where I should hand it to you, right? What do you think? What are you laughing?
Yes, I guess no, it's very enlightening what you told me, and I think now thinking about it, like at least from people I know that are Vietnamese, you are correct. I think responsible women who have kids, they know not to splurge anymore. Maybe that's different for the West, but no, it was a great insight. Cool. Well, I got nothing more to add to it. I just want to say, like, this has been another great episode of the Unlisted podcast. Please, if you can comment what you like or dislike, what more topics you
if
want
you
to.
agree, let me know why.
Yeah.
And if you disagree, also let us know why. Again, I made it very clear that it's just my personal observation. Maybe my sample size is cute. I don't know. Maybe you come from other part of the country, we think otherwise. Let us know. I don't have to be right.
All right. We'll catch you guys later then. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.